Welcome in. The new drug today is, it's raining out there in your city. Remember we used to start on the show, you said, we need the rain.
I know, I used to love it.
The 12 minutes of your life when you mowed your own lawn, remember that?
So great.
You said, we need the rain.
Yeah.
Well, shut up. We don't need the rain. It's raining today.
Yeah.
Frangie, Carline,
Stay safe out there.
Stay safe. It really is raining hard. It's the Nimnick Tuesday. Thanks to our friends at the Nimnick family of dealerships, the best place to get automobiles, trucks, you name it, SUVs at Nimnick. I'm proud to be the spokesman for the Nimnick family of dealerships. I've been buying my cars since the early 80s there, and I'm going to keep right on doing it. So I head to Nimnick today. You know what's great about the world? Can I tell you?
Please.
I was talking to Graham Cam back in the back. Let me tell you how the world's great. I'm going to share this with you and JJ.
I think I caught a sliver maybe.
Yeah. So here's what used to happen, okay? You did kind of hear it. So we were told, like, Snickers are bad for you. Mm-hmm. Candy bars are terrible.
By bad people.
Yeah, well, you're going to die if you eat too many sweets. Right, JJ? I mean, the sweets are no good. Candy's bad for you. Okay?
Yeah.
So somebody came along with the idea, take the wrapper off the candy bar, rewrap it, and call it a protein bar, and you are the healthiest person in America. And so that's what America does. You see what I'm eating right here?
Yeah. Reese's. That's great.
It's a Reese's bar.
Yeah.
But it says it's protein 1 and it's got 18 grams of protein. So I'm now very healthy in America.
I think you'll be if you eat 2 more of those today.
Right. I might be.
You might be immortal.
I might be in the Olympics. Okay,
you could be.
I mean, is it
in the enhanced Olympics?
Is there any doubt that these protein bars are candy bars?
Oh, without a doubt.
They're all candy bars. They just have a different wrapper.
They've just put protein in it as well.
Right. I'm sure
along with the chocolate.
I'm sure there's protein inside that chocolate somewhere. I mean, there's protein. Can you buy protein? Just go out and buy. Can I have a pack of it?
Yeah.
I mean.
Protein powder.
Okay. No, well, this isn't. No, I mean. So here's what I got. I'm now healthy. This is the healthiest Reese's bar of all time. I mean, I literally got a protein 1 bar made by Reese's. Peanut butter lovers.
Now, did you tell your wife to buy that? Or?
No. I went. I was on my way in. I went to the store and bought it. Okay, so there you go.
So that's first maiden voyage.
I just had a bite. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Pretty good. Yeah.
Well, not only that but can you imagine how much I'm going to bench press?
I was going to say, like that's what that'd be. We should do like a blindfold taste test, and I'll give you like a regular Snickers bar.
Yeah, do that,
and then we'll give you the protein bar, and we'll see if you can tell the difference.
Right. The only difference is I will bench press more. With this. So there's anyway. So that's why the world's great, Carlin.
We've made some incredible advancements.
And you know what? I'm here to inform the public of those advancements.
Yeah.
So there's that. So it's literally a Reese's bar. It says Reese's. The orange.
It is funny that they've got the Reese's the logo on it, and it's technically a health product.
It's awesome. God bless America.
That's great.
It's a great country or what?
Yeah. I can actually start the vein in your bicep is starting to throb a little bit.
I'm starting to look a little veiny, just like that with the one bite.
I didn't realize I was doing a show with Rambo over here.
Oh, my God, that was funny. All right, things to talk about today on the program. We'll talk a little bit more about the Jaguars. We'll see them again on Thursday. I want to get to some college football stuff that we just were so busy yesterday. I had it on my notes to get to, and I had a plan for it, but we had all the Jaguar stuff, and it was a very busy show yesterday, so I want to get to this. But this showdown between Greg Sankey and the rest of the world, it seems like. The 5'11 versus, 4'4", 2'2", 1'3".
Yeah.
Okay. But it's this showdown of, and no one seems to be budging. I'm gonna start the program with that in a minute. But I think it's a really interesting. I'm serious about this.
And I think you're right. It's Sankey because the Big Ten is sort of their leadership is sort of allowing Sankey to, drive the public arm of this. And so it is interesting because, they're in lockstep, which, again, is shocking from where they were like 2 or 3 years ago. But, but the SEC and Big Ten have realized that we may be able to do this on our own and make way more money.
Yeah, so it's kind of crazy. So anyway, we'll I'm going to get into that and why he feels the way he does. So we'll certainly talk about that a little bit as well. Were you watching the baseball last night at all? Did you watch any college baseball? I watched all of it.
Did you really?
Did you watch any, JJ?
I did not watch
mine.
I watched us for sure, and I just caught some other stuff on social media, but it was an absolutely insane regional weekend.
I mean, it was really. It's still kind of weird. The artificial turf fields in college baseball look different. There's different. I mean, Hattiesburg's a different place that you've seen on TV.
crazy field there, by the way. Like
really,
that super deep park, man.
Yeah, it really is. So, but I mean, it was really, it was kind of, it's kind of fun watching, which made me think about this. So ESPN's not going to have baseball, right? They're not going to have baseball after this year, right?
Major League Baseball.
Major League Baseball. Does ESPN then, JJ, in your opinion, lean into college baseball?
Dude, I just saw the schedule for this weekend. Now that Miami's in the Super Regional for the first time in 2016, and I'm obviously the biggest fan. I've been following them all season.
Right.
But I just saw the schedule for this weekend, and like Friday through Sunday and Monday, all the games are on ESPN, ESPN2 all day long. They're not on ESPNU or the Plus or whatever. So they are leaning into this. Basically, their entire weekend programming this week is just college baseball.
Yeah, so I mean, I really get the impression. I can remember before ESPN had Major League Baseball, it did a college game of the week on Sunday nights.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, but way back in the day, they did a college game of the week on Sunday nights. That was 100 years ago.
With the aluminum bats.
Yeah, right. And so I really do think, remember that because we'd never seen the metal bats.
Yeah.
So I think
the sound is still awesome. I think.
Yeah.
I mean, it's better when it's a wooden bat.
Right.
But it's still a cool, like.
Well, it's certainly a distinctly different sound. And so anyway, so I got thinking about it. I wonder if next year, it starts next year, right, JJ? Isn't it next year?
I believe so,
Yeah.
like NBC or whoever. There's a lot of different people, I think, still competing for the rights for it.
Yeah. So yeah. But let's assume if NBC winds up getting baseball, which my guess is it probably will. Which, by the way, would be good. I think NBC getting baseball
love that.
is one way to save it. I mean, it really would.
I used to watch the World Series on NBC as a kid.
I grew up with NBC. I grew up with Kurt Gowdy calling games. So, but I just wonder. Look, it's going to be this televising of baseball is going to be very interesting to see the way the whole thing plays out. So, but I certainly watched some of it last night. So we'll certainly talk about that. Hey, NBA guys, riddle me this: Tom Thibodeau got fired?
Yeah.
I don't follow the league.
He's the Marty Schottenheimer of the NBA.
I guess. I mean,
remember when Schottenheimer went like 15 or 14-2
Yeah.
with the Chargers, and they fired him because he lost his first playoff game.
14-2. But I mean, so if I get the kind of all the numbers right, they went to the conference finals for the first time in 25 years. They had back-to-back 50-win seasons for the first time in forever.
I think the most wins since 2013.
The most wins in over 10 years. Why did they fire him?
He was catching a lot of grief during the Pacers series, so I don't know, maybe some of that fan backlash.
The way that he uses the team and the roster is not very 2025. Like, he basically uses 7 to 8 guys like the entire season. Will play guys crazy long minutes in games where they're blowing people out. And I think the front office is like, listen, if we're going to wear down at the end of every single season, then it doesn't really matter how far you get us if we're just going to lose because of fatigue. And he's not going to change his ways. I'm with you guys. I think it's absolutely crazy. But just being devil's advocate, that was what a lot of people don't like about Tibbs.
Just don't hire Todd Golden.
Yeah. They're not going to hire Todd Golden. So speaking of Gator basketball, I'm going to ask you about a guy. We're going to talk about a guy today on the program. Olivier Roux.
Yeah.
What's going to happen?
Is that the Yao Ming?
He's the 7'9"
The 7'9" guy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I saw the story. Edgar Thompson, who does a great job covering the Gators, wrote about this in the Orlando. Did you see the story?
Mm-hmm.
That he said he's probably not playing next year either. He's not ready. The redshirt year's over, so he can play. He'll be a mop-up guy.
Right.
He's 7'9".
Mm-hmm.
He can dunk without jumping. Do you see that?
Yeah. He didn't need a ladder to cut down any of the nets.
Right. But he can dunk without jumping. Just think about that for a second.
I can do that too, but it's
you do it because of your extreme vertical.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, he can.
It's astonishing.
So would he be? I mean, I'm going to get to this later.
Yeah,
but would he be better off going somewhere else? And look, I guess the theory is you're a backup behind that front line for 2 years. You're going to be ready to play anywhere. And I guess that's what and good for him, by the way. I'm not chasing him off. Right. Good for him for not being a backup that leaves because all the backups leave.
Yeah.
But I just wonder, I don't know. It's just weird. It's a weird. Is he at the wrong school? Because God bless his soul, he went to the school with the best team in the country. There's 300 teams.
Right.
Could he have gone to number 243?
Right.
And maybe played some?
And I think he still can. I think he's bought into the long-term plan that Golden has for him. But it was interesting when they visited the White House. The pictures individually took, or the players took individual pictures with the president in the Oval Office, and Ryu was one of the players that got to do that. And so there was a video that Florida tweeted out, and the president asks Todd Golden, is he shakes Olivier's hand, and then Olivier's moving to Trump's side to get his picture taken, and Trump asks Golden, he says, he's a good player, and Golden's response is, he's getting there. Yeah,
which is the right way to say
which is what you say when a guy's a year away from being a year away.
Yeah.
So,
That's right.
I mean, I think potentially, Golden believes that there is something on the horizon for him. But, yeah, I mean, obviously when you're that tall, it's tough to be coordinated. Yeah. And my guess is that's where his game is. I hope that now that to your point, now that he's burned the red shirt, or not burned the red shirt, but now that he's had his red shirt year, my hope is that next year he is able to get, 4 minutes a game, and play in games that are lopsided, which Florida could have several of those next year. And so hopefully he's able to get out on the floor a little bit. It would be disappointing next year if Ryu is just never plays. That would be very disappointing. My expectations would be that he should at least play when Florida is either up or down, 25 points with 4 minutes left.
Zach Edey, who they list him at 7'4" now, but some people say he's like 7'6". Mm-hmm. He's really about 7'6". And they said he wasn't very good early on.
Yeah, it takes time at that size. Yeah.
No, we'll get
I mean, I don't think Sean Bradley in college did much.
That's right.
Until the very end at BYU. And then, obviously was drafted high. And, I didn't have a tremendous NBA career, but probably, what would you guess, played 6-7 years?
Yeah, something like that.
I mean.
Yeah, and he was 7'6".
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. Interesting stuff. So we'll see. So we'll talk about that later on the program. We'll talk some Jaguars as well. And again, it was great being on the field with them yesterday. Hayes had a terrific one-on-one with Foye Oluokun. We'll get some other thoughts about the Jags coming up as the show moves along today. But let's take a break. I want to start the program. I want to get into the Greg Sankey comments, the playoffs, where that thing's headed. That's how we'll start the program. It's 1010 XL and 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Remember the voice in your head? The one that said,
Jacksonville Sports Radio.
Here's the place it came from.
1010 XL.
When you're experiencing sudden, unexpected dental pain, the last thing you want to hear is that your dentist can't see you until next week. That's why I'm so glad I found Harbor Dental Care. Whenever I call, they always find a way to see me within 24 hours, and they can usually fix whatever's wrong the same day. Plus, they have locations throughout Jacksonville, so no matter what side of town I'm on, I can always count on the same great care. If you want to find a dentist who believes in treating people right, learn more at harbordental.care. That's HARBOUR dental.care.
Hey, it's Matt Hayes. Let's start with some cold, hard truth. Here's why Awaken 180 Weight Loss is your road to freedom. It's fast, it's easy, it's safe. You're not shooting chemicals into your body every week. You're eating real food every single day. You're not listening to an overpriced celebrity tell you about magical new food or asking you to count points or calories. You're just eating food and losing weight. It's that simple with Awaken 180 Weight Loss. You know what else you're doing while losing weight with Awaken 180? Eliminating pain, fitting into clothes you haven't worn in years, sleeping through the night and waking up refreshed and energized and happy. I lost 40 pounds in 9 weeks on Awaken 180, and Hacker lost more than 110 over the course of a year. It's a life-changing road to freedom. Doesn't matter what your goal weight is, Awaken 180 Weight Loss will get you there quickly and safely, a clear path to success without disappointment. Awaken 180. Give them a call, 844-346-1800, or go online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Feeling the Florida heat? Make sure your car's AC is ready with help from Big Chief Tire. Frank Frangie here. Right now, get $50 off all AC services at any of their 5 Jacksonville locations. Whether it's a quick recharge or a full repair, their expert technicians will keep you cool and comfortable on the road. Visit WeKeepJacksRollin.com or call 904-932-0950 to schedule your AC service today and take advantage of this limited one-time offer. Big Chief Tire keeps Jacks rolling.
Bueller.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey, pal. Pretty nice weather we're having, huh?
You think this is nice?
I mean, it's sunny, Warm? We do live in Florida.
It's not all upside, Jason. Warm weather comes, so all the cool people hit the beach. My old air conditioner craps out, so it's 1,000 degrees inside, and I'm stuck on a video call in my underpants trying not to sweat through my...
Wait. Put these sunglasses on.
I'm not going to put on your...
Whoa. The air conditioning experts at Bueller Air and Plumbing can keep your home office cool and comfortable all summer long. You look good in your meeting, impress the big guy with your cool confidence, maybe finally make assistant deputy regional manager.
Wow, air conditioning can do that?
Life moves pretty fast. If you spend all summer worried the weather is going to be too nice, you could miss it.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
Frangie here. Nimnick Buick GMC is proud to be the #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville, earned by treating customers with courtesy, respect, and fairness. All part of Nimnick's Treating You Right guarantee. The most Buicks, GMCs, and Jacksonville's only Car Bravo dealer, nobody but Nimnick. For 3 generations, Nimnick has been the place customers keep coming back to. They treat you right, and they give a bunch back to the community. Visit NimnickBuickGMC.com today to learn more, or visit their showroom off Phillips Highway. GMC, we are professional grade.
What's the weekend in sports look like? I'm 1010XL's Dan Hicken, and I'll give you my takes and weekend updates on YouTube and Facebook. Musings with the media mogul. That's right, motivated by Tucker Equipment Rentals in Neptune Beach.
Frangie here. I was talking to a buddy the other day. His HOA told him his old fence had to go. I said, man, call Coil Fencing. They've been around the block since 1927. Heck, they probably built half the fences in Jacksonville. They do it all. Tough chain link for security. Those fancy aluminum ones the HOA actually likes. Nearly a century of keeping yards safe and looking good. You need a fence? Call Coil. You can trust the folks at Coil. 904-356-4821 or visit coiljacks.com. COYLE Jacks.com.
The Peace Lily is so last year. Hey, has anyone worked with fiddlenecks?
Shelby's popular flower shop is in full bloom.
We just got a request for an arrangement that evokes air. Who's up for that challenge? No?
She needs to hire a floral designer to nip foliage faux pas in the bud.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our advanced matching helps find talented candidates so you can connect with them fast. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Checkmate Coatings. Your floor's missing piece.
Hicken here with a game winner. It's Checkmate Coatings. I've scouted them all. And this Jacksonville crew's the real deal.
I'm Brendan, owner of Checkmate Coatings. We transform pool decks, driveways, and patios with pro precision.
Score big at checkmatecoatings.com. Checkmate Coatings, your floor's missing piece.
Checkmate Coatings. Your floor's missing piece.
There's certain places you know if you go in, they got what you're looking for, like Gate Convenience Stores and Colt Modelo's. That's the ticket. Or get on the craft side of things with something from Bolt City or Sweetwater. Hit the cooler at Gate. Full of choices and all of them good.
You'll always feel good when you send someone a Kuhn Flowers floral or plant arrangement. This is JJ with 1010XL, and no matter what the reason, Kuhn Flowers has always come through for me. Order online at kuhnflowers.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Nimnick Tuesday on The Frangie Show. Nimnick, your friends in the car business since 1941.
Just finished off a little protein in the break.
Yeah.
Reese's protein.
You're jacked.
Boy, do I feel strong.
Yeah. Do they make whatchamacallit bars protein? That'd be good. Or do they make what's another good one? Snickers would be good.
Snickers would be good. All I know is I got Reese's and I'm strong.
Yeah.
God bless, bro. God bless America. I do want to thank my friends from the Nimnick family of dealerships. Nimnick Chevrolet is on Cassett Avenue. Nimnick Buick GMC is on Phillips Highway. Started buying my cars at Nimnick in 1982. My friend Billy Nimnick Jr., God rest his soul, showed me how to buy a car. I've told this story many times. Had no idea, had no credit, just got out of college. First car I ever bought by myself. And I appreciate it so much, him taking the time. And that's been really the Nimnick way forever. His son, Billy III, runs the joint now. And they do a fantastic job. And I trusted them way back then when I had to learn how to buy a car. And you can trust them now. Salespeople that will treat you right. You're going to the right place when you go see my friends at Nimnick. Nimnick's the name to know when you want to buy a car in this market. Nobody but Nimnick. Frangie, Carline, JJ LaSelva with you. All right, so the SEC and the Big Ten, we all know it's probably going to 14 teams. To 16 teams. The conventional thinking is, and the common sense answer is, go ahead and let your 5 automatic bids get in. The 4 power conferences and 1 from the group of 5. And then the next 11 teams will be at-large teams, similar to the way the basketball tournament does it. And that is what the ACC has recommended, and that is what the Big 12 has recommended, and that seems to be logical. The SEC and Big Ten have pushed back. This is actually a Big Ten recommendation, but the SEC has endorsed it. 4 automatic qualifiers for the Big Ten, 4 automatic qualifiers from the SEC, 2 from the ACC, 2 from the Big 12, 1 from the group of 5, and then 3 at-large teams. And that has sounded crazy, the 4-4-2-2-1-3 plan. 5-11 seems to make way more sense, and I think they will land on 5-11 because Greg Sankey in his recent SEC meetings in Destin asked his coaches, and the coaches pretty much said 5-11's fine, which I thought was interesting. I got a lot of thoughts on this, but I'm going to let you go first. Where are you on this?
I think it doesn't really matter what they end up doing because it's just going to be a short-term thing because I think the SEC and Big Ten are looking to break away. But, I think the 5 and the 11 is the best model. But I think I understand where the SEC and Big Ten are coming from by saying, look, this committee is bound by one thing only, apparently, and it's the loss column. And they are going to give preference to teams that only have, 1 loss, even if it's against a weak schedule, over a 2-loss team that maybe has way more signature wins. So I think that's the concern, and I understand it. And look, I understand being in the committee and feeling that pressure of there's a justification that you have to come up with when you take, let's say, a 9-3 team over a 10-2 team. If that's let's say that's the argument. You're always, I think, just going to gravitate towards the team with fewer losses. So what I would recommend is they need to publicly come out with, this is what the committee is going to prioritize. And what the committee should prioritize is strength of your wins. And if strength of your wins is the biggest component, then, your loss, obviously you're not going to be able to lose like 4 games or more, obviously, but if you've lost 3 games, but you've got wins over number 6, number 9, and number 19, then you should get in over a team with 2 losses that hasn't beat a ranked team all year. And so that's what I would say. Focus on the signature wins more than the loss column. But that's hard because the human nature doesn't really allow for that.
I think that was a great take, and I think you're very close. So the bottom line, you hit the bottom line. The reason Greg Sankey wants 4-4-2-2-1-3 is because he believes in his heart and soul 9-3 Alabama or 9-3 Georgia or 9-3 LSU playing that brutal schedule in the league plus a really good non-conference team is going to be better than that 11-1 Indiana or that 11-2 SMU, but they're not going to get picked ahead of them. That's the thesis statement. He believes the 9-3 Georgia, LSU, Tennessee, Alabama, whoever, after playing that brutal gauntlet of an SEC schedule, plus often one brutal team out of the league, Clemson or whoever, he believes that team is a more deserving team than the 11-1 SMU team that did not play nearly as good a schedule. And yet he believes that team will always get slighted. And we've seen recent cases both ways. We saw 13-0 FSU after Jordan Travis was hurt get slighted for a 2-loss Alabama or whatever they were, right? And so and because that happened to FSU, there was so much pushback the next year that SMU and Indiana got in ahead of Alabama and South Carolina. And whether they should have or shouldn't have is inconsequential. That's where the conversation is. And so Greg Sankey is concerned that he believes that his good teams will regularly have 2 or 3 losses because they play each other, and that teams will regularly be 11-1 that aren't as good as his teams, and in his opinion, not as deserving of his teams, but will always get in ahead of them. That's the whole crux of this thing. So as crazy as the 4-4-2-2-1-3 sounds, I understand his point. I'm not for it, by the way. I'm for the 5-11 with a little bit of a disclaimer that you very close to what you just covered, Hayes. So I'm kind of on the same page where you are, and I'll explain it a little differently, but I think you're on it. But I get it. So I get his point, and I get his point. I also, you made a really good point that I didn't have in my notes here that I'm gonna add to them. Your point's a really good one. It's hard for a committee member to pick the 9-3 over the 11-1 because you're going to get scrutinized. The 11-1 Indiana team deserves that dream because they never get it. How are you going to rob them of that dream if that means that much to them? Because you believe 9-3 Alabama might be better, and they probably are better. They certainly would be favored if they played. So your point about understanding the dilemma of the committee guy makes a lot of sense. My point about understanding, and probably yours too, the frustration of a Greg Sankey makes sense too. So how do you solve it? Well, one thing I think will solve it, and I said this at the time last year, is the move from 12 to 16. I now think the move from 12 to 16 will solve that. Now, look, you still have who's 17th, BYU at 10-2 or South Carolina at 9-3. I get that. You could go to 28 teams and you'd still have the argument of who's 29th. I understand that. But I think moving from 12 to 16 will mitigate a lot of it, and I really do believe that. The NCAA tournament had to keep getting bigger till they finally figured it out. Once the tournament finally got to 64 and now 68 teams, you rarely have a team now that doesn't get in that was going to win it, right? You're still going to have teams that thought they should get in, the bubble teams, but they probably weren't going to be a factor. Well, once you get to 16, you're probably not leaving home the national champion. At 12, you still could. At 4, you really could, but it's not likely now. So I think the move from 12 to 16 will mitigate some of that, which is why 5-11, I think, is the best option, and I hope they land there. But you hit on something else. What is the criteria? Right now, there is no spoken criteria. There's none. And so back to your point, when committee member gets asked why did he vote for 9-3 Alabama over 11-1 Indiana, he said, I think they were better. I think they were more proven. They were more tested. Well, how is that Indiana's fault? You can only beat the teams you play. Those Indiana kids didn't make the schedule. It's not their fault. They won 11 games against a weaker schedule. So I get that. The answer to me, and I think basketball did a marvelous job of this, and baseball not quite as public, come up with something that is the equivalent of that RPI, because that is what people trust. People trust that RPI. I'm not smart enough to know. It's the ratings percentage index, that's what it's called. Mm-hmm. I'm not smart enough to know what goes into it. And what's the one in basketball called? The net. The net. I'm not smart enough to know how they come up with it, but I do know the public has started to trust it. I don't know that the public completely trusts it over record, but have you noticed that we're leaning more that way than we ever have? Mm-hmm. So come up with a tool and explain before the season, we are going to use this metric. That doesn't mean it's necessarily going to be black and white, that the top 16 in the RPI are in and that's it. But that is going to be a critically important metric for us, and it's a more important metric than your record. I think once you have said that and once you have ingrained that in the public, that people will buy it. You have to do it. You said you want the criteria to be strength of wins. Well, I want the criteria to be RPI, which is certainly going to include strength of wins. In basketball, they call it quad one wins. So there's really, I'm saying the same thing you're saying. But once you can ingrain that metric into the minds of your public, and that means it takes precedent now over your record. I think when you do that, the 5-11 will make sense. So 5-11 to me is better than 4-4-2-2-1-3. But I understand why Tony Petitti and particularly Greg Sankey would push for that. I understand it. But I think the 5-11 makes more sense. But you have to have a metric that involves more than how many games did you lose. And I think if you do that the way the basketball people did, you'll ingrain that in the mind of your public and you'll pull it off.
Yeah, and you especially have this issue now with the conferences expanding to such a ridiculous level of membership. I mean, the Big Ten doesn't count for this necessarily, but they have 18 schools. The SEC has 16. The ACC, I believe, has 16. And what ends up happening, the reason I bring up Big Ten is because of Indiana. But we'll go ACC. We'll go with more of the SMU for this discussion. The ACC schedule now, with having this many teams in it, is there's going to be some teams that just play no one. play no one, particularly if it's a team like the Big Ten equivalent of an Indiana that doesn't have a particularly strong brand. They're not going to be, the league isn't going to look to put them in marquee games because no one watches Hoosiers football nationally. And there's a lot of teams in the ACC that can say that. I mean, once you get beyond Florida State, Clemson, Miami,
that's about it.
That might be it in terms of
Virginia Tech is
regular
a distant
fan in around the nation.
Yeah, Va Tech is the distant fourth in that group, if you ask me.
I would agree. And so if you're playing a schedule, if you're one of these, like it wouldn't be stunning if Louisville had a schedule that came out. Now that there's no divisions or anything like that, where like in a year maybe they miss Florida State and Clemson, and they don't. Let's say they don't play Notre Dame that year. It's not part of the rotation. Well, I mean, did you really do it? And their out-of-conference game is going to be Kentucky, which most years probably isn't going to help you much in terms of impressing a committee. So I just think with these conferences being so large, and obviously these leagues are going to stack their major brands against each other, it just creates a scenario where I think every year you're going to have an SMU or an Indiana that played no one, and that's not their fault, but played no one and had a nice year. And do they really deserve a shot at the national title? And so I think, again, the Quad One, the public, to your point, has completely embraced the idea of you need a lot of Quad One wins. And losing a Quad One game doesn't kill you in terms of men's basketball. I mean, we've seen instances, we were tracking it obviously this year with the Gators because it went from sort of, will they make the field to, okay, they're going to make the field, but will they be a 6 seed? Well, no, they're winning these games. Maybe they'll be a 4 seed, but then they lose a game at like Tennessee. But it was a massive Quad One game. It was on the road against a top 4 team, and it didn't hurt their net ranking at all. And so I think the public has gravitated around the idea of the Quad One entity, and you could easily push that onto football and say, this is what we're looking at. We understand you guys can't control your schedule necessarily. You might have a year where it's unbalanced, and if that's the case and you still win a bunch of games, we're sorry, but we're looking for Quad One wins. And if that means that if you're a school that doesn't have a lot of football success traditionally, if you need to go out of conference and schedule 2 or 3 really good programs, if you can find those games, you need to do that. Because if you schedule 4 cupcakes or 3 cupcakes and a 9-game conference schedule that isn't particularly daunting, don't be surprised if you're left out.
But you have to get to where that is the criteria. And if you do, then I think, and again, Greg Sankey's made it clear that if they don't go 4-4-2-2-1-3, then he's not going to recommend a 9th game in the conference game, and he's not going to recommend his teams play good teams out of the league. He says if they do this, then he'll recommend a 9th conference game and a really good non-conference opponent. Well, I think 5-11 with the criteria you and I just talked about, a real RPI that weighs more than win-loss record. Win-loss record is part of the RPI, but the RPI, if the RPI is ranked above it is a judging criteria, and the public understands that, then I think you can still go to the 9th conference game and play tough teams out of the conference. One other thought, and I like this. Greg Sankey's really smart. Really smart. And Tony Petitti, by all accounts, the Big Ten commissioner, I'm sure he is too. Look, I think Jim Phillips is probably smart. I think they're all smart. But Greg Sankey, every time he pushes for the 4-4-2-2-1-3, every time he pushes, every time he gets angry when people push back and call him a bully and say he's the problem, every time he does it, he's making the case that the 9-3 Alabama, at least in his mind, belong ahead of the 11-1 Indiana. Even if they land at 5-11, every conversation you have about 4-4-2-2-1-3, every one, Greg Sankey is changing your mind. He's or at least making you think about it a little bit. So then, even if you go to 5-11, and even if they don't make that RPI criteria as public as I'd like to see them make it, when the 9-3 LSU does get in ahead of the 11-2 Wake Forest, when that does happen, then you'll remember the 4-4-2-2-1-3, even though it didn't happen. So I think the lobbying is making a lot of sense. I like the fact that he's doing it, and I think it's going to land at a good place. Having said all that, what I hope doesn't happen, he was asked, is there a chance he could stay at 12? He said, well, everything's possible. That's him. That's a threat. If we're not staying at 12, and everybody knows that. I hope we get to 16. I hope we get to 5 and 11. I hope we get to 5 and 11 with a metric similar to the RPI. That and all by the way, the part of this is the communication. Burden of communication is always on the communicator, right? So you have to communicate to your public, to your listening public, just so you know. Not only are we doing the 5-11 plan, but we are now introducing a metric that is similar to the basketball RPI, and we are going to look at that more closely than we do look at win-loss record. It's just a statement. Put out the statement.
Right.
And once you've put it out, then I think people understand it. But it's a terribly interesting storyline, and we'll continue to follow it. Take a break. More in a moment. This is 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
If you need an insurance agent, I'll recommend the best guy in town, State Farm agent Craig Dewhurst. Call him at 940-9740. Really good guy, really good agent. Life insurance, homeowners, automotive, you name it, he'll handle it for you. Tell him what you need. He'll assess your whole situation. What kind of coverage do you need? How much coverage? What should your deductible be? What do you make, and how does it fit your cost and your rates? You will love dealing with Craig. What a nice guy he is, and how he'll help you get the right answers. The best in the business. Craig Dewhurst from State Farm, 940-9740.
1010XL takes you inside the program director's office with Jeff Prosser.
You yourself happen to have a terrible temper. I do not have a temper! No one can say that I have a temper!
Mornings
I have a terrible temper.
on 1010XL.
Guys, your lawn's the home field. Now you can champion your St. Augustine grass. TopDressing.com just hit Jacksonville with a game-changing patented process. Aerate and transform your turf into a fairway-worthy masterpiece. Less water, shorter cuts, and the envy of every neighbor. No one else delivers a perfect 10 lawn like this. Visit TopDressing.com and dominate your block with the same process that golf courses use. Top dress your lawn like the pros with TopDressing.com.
Are your monthly bills keeping you up at night, wondering how you got so behind? Hey, I'm Roger Moore, CEO of Loan Pronto. I get it. Life is expensive now. Insurance, groceries, cars. And then there's the credit card debt with those obscene interest rates. It's time to regain your financial freedom. And that's what we offer at Loan Pronto, using the power of the equity in your home. We have multiple ways to get you the cash you need, and most clients close in 2 weeks or less, and many don't even require an appraisal. And listen, rates have been plummeting recently. We just locked the homeowner in with an APR in the low fives, saving her over $1,000 per month, and put $10,000 in her pocket. Life-changing money. Whether you're drowning in debt, have a nosebleed rate you got last year, need home improvements, or simply need cash in your pocket, we can help you accomplish this goal in record time. Call us today and get started with no hard credit pull, just a conversation. LoanPronto.com, 904-999-1508. LoanPronto.com. That's LoanPronto.com.
Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org. It's the event everyone waits for. Now at Beard's Diamonds. Buy one, get one free on all wedding bands. Now for a limited time, when you buy his wedding band, get hers free. Buy hers, get his free. Save up to $10,000. Are you about to get married or been married for years thinking it's time for an upgrade? There's nothing that symbolizes your love more than the wedding band. Beards has hundreds and hundreds of bands from top designers in white gold, yellow gold, rose gold, titanium, platinum, plain bands, channel set bands, pave set, eternity bands. And for men, masculine bands, wide, modern, with and without diamonds, hammered, brushed, engraved, lots of colors. Come to Beards now and find the wedding band that reflects your style and your personality. Buy one, get the second one free. The big box corporate jewelry stores can't or won't do this, but Beards can. And it's happening now through June 23rd. Buy one wedding band, get the second one free. Don't miss this opportunity to celebrate your eternal love with the eternal symbol, Beards Diamonds, at St. John's Town Center.
Attention business owners and property managers. Hurricane season is right around the corner. Is your property ready? Call the pros at Duck Duck Rooter for expert storm drain cleaning and hydrojetting. Our powerful VACCON truck clears the way so your drains flow freely when the rain hits. Call 904-862-6769 today to schedule your service and protect your property before the storms start rolling in. Duck Duck Rooter, your trusted name in storm drain maintenance. Visit us at duckduckrooter.com. We are a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
The best golfing weather is upon us, and the Hidden Hills Golf Club invites you to enjoy your next round of golf with us. Our welcoming atmosphere and love for golf keep our friends coming back. Check us out at hiddenhillsgc.com. You'll be glad you did.
You don't think this would be a good moment to text somebody?
There's never a bad moment to share your opinion on the 1010XL text line. Designed by Lifetime Enclosures. Share your opinion
As soon as possible.
at 641-1010.
Attention skilled electricians. Are you undervalued at your current company? Time to step up to the bigger projects and better opportunities. Join the team at Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering not just a job, but an experienced, top-notch pay, unbeatable benefits, and the best working environments in the business. Please join the team that values your skills and rewards your hard work. Elevate your career to new heights. Apply today at millercareers.com, an equal opportunity employer.
They were right. It could have waited. I can't believe it happened to me. Reaching to check my phone. Now my family has to hear that I'm never coming home again.
Officer?
I'm so sorry. I have some very sad news to share with you.
Every day, 9 people on Florida roadways don't make it home. I was one of the people that didn't make it home.
Ride with Do Not Disturb. Every trip, every time. Let's get everyone home safely. A message from Florida Department of Transportation, Target Zero. For more information, visit targetzerofl.com.
Ready to add some value to your day? The everyday deals at Sonny's have got you covered. Right now, you can get the pork big deal for 10, the pork and rib combo for 12, all you can eat ribs for $19.99, and our new loaded barbecue potato for $11. Available all day, every day. And that's why it's always Sonny's here. Sonny's Barbecue, local pitmasters since '68.
What does your dream backyard look like? Hey, it's Joe C. and my friends at CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living can design an outdoor kitchen layout custom built to your taste and lifestyle. You dream it, they can build it. CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living. Visit cssoutdoor.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Nimnick Tuesday on The Frangie Show. Nimnick, your friends in the car business since 1941.
Hey, Frangie, hey, it's Carlion. JJ LaSelva, thanks to the Nimnick family of dealerships. They do such a fantastic job. Head to Nimnick today. Nimnick Chevrolet on Casted Avenue. Nimnick Buick GMC is located on Phillips Highway. The NBA Finals start this week. We'll do our Loser Monday. Tomorrow, we can actually do it Thursday because it starts Thursday night. We'll do one of the next 2 days. All right, 2 thoughts on the finals. Number one, two richly deserving teams. They ran through the playoffs, really ran through the playoffs. Oklahoma City was the best team. They ran through the regular season, too. They were the best team in the regular year. They proved in the playoffs. They beat a good West. Minnesota was a formidable opponent, and they ran through them. Certainly the Pacers took down the Knicks, who looked unbeatable against the Celtics. They were certainly very good. 2 very deserving teams. But will anybody watch? I mean, that's my question. Well, and I don't know the ratings game, nor do I know how important it is. But will anybody watch?
I think it's going to be a tough sell for the casual fan because the NBA has been so reliant on its logos, its best logos for so long. Maybe you can make an argument that the fact that it's 2 new teams, maybe there'll be some curiosity there, and the numbers won't be as dreadful as I think people are expecting. But I would imagine this will be fairly low rated compared to what we're accustomed to seeing.
What do you think, JJ?
No, I think it'll be bad ratings. I'll watch. I don't care about that stuff.
The diehards will watch.
Yeah. But, yeah, Indiana being in there is really bad. I guess OKC, they're not a big market, but the fact that they've been the best team all year, they have the MVP. They had a lot of nationally televised games this year. Like some of the series in the playoffs with Denver did pretty well. Like overall, the ratings have actually been up for the NBA this playoffs. But, yeah, the finals, I think, not going to do well. Unless you get some back and forth series that goes 7 games and it just gets everybody's attention for who knows what. Halliburton hits crazy game winners or something. But yeah, I expect these to be some of the worst ratings we've had in a while.
I would think, and as you look at the rosters, and again, this isn't about quality of play. It's about quality of player. It's about recognizability of player. because people watch stuff they recognize. That's just the way the world is. It could be sports, it could be politics, it could be music, it could be movies. When a movie hires George Clooney or Brad Pitt, it's not necessarily because they're better actors than other people they might have hired. But they are by far more recognizable than anybody the movie could have hired, which, by the way, is why they cost more. I'm not convinced they're better actors than everybody else in the world. I am convinced if you put a movie out right now that even I don't care how old they are, if George Clooney and Brad Pitt are in a movie right now, it's going to do well. Or it's going to get a good look because people know who they are. That's just that's the world. So as I look, this Oklahoma City team is really good. I mean, really good. And Gilgeous-Alexander is a magnificent player, a very, very deserving MVP. But I would suggest that people that don't follow the league don't know much about him. And beyond him, I would suggest there's nobody else on the team they would know. Maybe you watched Alex Caruso when he was with the Lakers because you just recognize him. Maybe you remember Holmgren from his quick trip to Gonzaga.
I doubt it.
But I'm reaching, aren't I?
Yeah. I mean, if you don't know Oklahoma City, you don't know Gonzaga.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, I'll be honest. Like Oklahoma City, they're one of their best supplemental players is Jalen Williams.
Right.
I could bump into Jalen Williams on the street, and I 2 weeks ago would have had no idea who he is.
Correct. And I think
you'd be like, that's a tall fella.
Yeah. But that's the point. And so and again, it's nobody's fault. They're a really good team, and they've earned their way here, and they're probably going to win the NBA title and have the MVP and have one of the most if they run through the finals, it'll be one of the most glorious years in many, many years. Glorious seasons, I should say, in many, many years. But there's just anybody recognizes, and the markets are small. And by the way, Oklahoma City, good for the city, because other than the softball every year, there's nothing there that anybody would recognize. It's a wonderful little town. You said I was surprised you had been there. What were you there for?
It's interesting. I think I misspoke because I think I got mixed up. I covered Gators regional in Omaha.
Okay.
Basketball.
Oh, okay.
So I've been to Omaha.
Gotcha,
I've never been to Oklahoma City.
Yeah. So because I think JJ ever been to Oklahoma City?
No, not even close.
Yeah, I would think most people haven't been there. I've been there a number of times because we flew in there when I was doing Touchdown Radio. Whether you either both Norman and Stillwater are very close by. So Norman is 40 minutes. Stillwater is about an hour and 20 minutes. So if you're going to either place, you fly into Oklahoma City. And we always stayed in the bigger cities. So we stayed in Oklahoma City on a regular basis. So I've probably stayed there. Heck, I did Bedlam 3 times. I did 2 other Oklahoma games, did another Oklahoma State game. So I probably stayed there 6 or 7 times. So I got to know the Mickey Mantle bar, which is right there on the river, and Toby Keith's place is right there. And so I mean, it's a cool little downtown. The river is very similar to the San Antonio River, which I'm now a veteran of. Let me not remind you. But I mean, it's very similar to it. I had seen the Oklahoma City River many times. I've never seen the San Antonio one. So it's a cool town.
And they have a great crowd.
Yeah, great crowd.
College type atmosphere.
That's exactly right. And for that reason, JJ,
right.
because that's what
it's
it is.
Their only team.
Yeah, and it's their only team, and they're very close to Oklahoma and Oklahoma State. Let me be clear about this. The main reason the main reason is Wayne Weaver, all right? But one of the main reasons Wayne Weaver was able to position Jacksonville to get an NFL team was that incredible college following. Jacksonville is an NFL city, and Oklahoma City is an NBA city, are very similar. One of the smallest markets in the league, within a couple hours of 2 big-time college football programs, college sports following. I mean, the passion for Oklahoma football and the passion for Florida Gator football is very similar, or in all their sports, really. So you can Oklahoma City is very Jacksonville, very much like Jacksonville. Wonderful city, wonderful fan base. They finally have their moment in the sun, and everybody in that city's coming out. You can imagine, I don't know, I assume it's like every other NBA arena, probably seats 20,000 or whatever. Mm-hmm. Can you imagine how many they could sell?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so it's a wonderfully deserving city. I just don't think, and I'm not faulting anybody. I just think the ratings could be really troublesome.
Well, and again, if it's a mismatch, it'll be historically awful. I mean, if this ends up being Thunder in a sweep or Thunder in 5, with the average margin of victory being 16 points, right, which could easily be what happens here, then it's going to be it's going to be really bad. I don't think the public will be all that engaged in seeing a coronation, and that would affect any series, any ratings. But it is one thing if you've got the Celtics, the Lakers, if the Knicks had made it, one of those established brands, then I think more people would be willing to stick through it, even if it wasn't overly competitive. And we'll see. Indiana's been full of surprises, RJ pointed out yesterday when he joined us for the handoff. So maybe we're selling Indiana short, and maybe they'll really push the Thunder. But it feels to me like this could easily be a sweep.
They got to win game 1 or 2. For anyone to care about this series,
Right.
even me, I'm like praying that Indiana wins on Thursday night.
And I just went through the roster or looked at the roster. I tried to find names of someone in the common but not NBA public would follow. All right, I'm now on the Indiana roster. By now, people have figured out that Tyrese Halliburton's pretty good. When you get beyond him in terms of names, now Siakam had some moments in Toronto that if you remember you know what I mean? If you follow the league,
he won there, yeah.
If you remember that,
but he's not a star of the NBA.
But I'm squinting to recognize to find what reason why people could recognize him. Yeah. Gator fans will recognize Nebhard because he played there a couple years, but that's because because he's from your college. Other than that, again,
Neesmith or Miles Turner, they're not exactly like household names.
I remember Neesmith 1 year at Vanderbilt, but that's only because I'm an idiot SEC fan. I wouldn't. And you're right. So again, it's nobody's fault, but the way it played out, boy, would the league have wanted Boston, New York, LA, somebody.
You also don't have any head coach sizzle here. The Oklahoma City guy is basically, a youngster.
Yeah.
So this is his first time sort of on the big stage. And Carlisle is certainly a veteran coach in the NBA, but I wouldn't say that Rick Carlisle is some coaching superstar that people will be curious about. Right. Seeing how he fares.
Here, let me tell you how close I follow the NBA. When did Rick Carlisle shave his head?
Beats me.
With the Mavericks, he had hair.
Yeah,
Remember that?
Yeah.
He was with the Mavericks. He had plenty of hair.
Yeah.
He had plenty of hair as the Mavericks coach. Then he shaved his. JJ, did I miss that? Was that recent?
I actually think it's been a few years.
Of course it has. I just don't watch. So it's.
Unfortunately, it happens to some of the best of us.
Don't you remember Rick Carlisle with the Mavericks?
Absolutely.
Had all kind of hair.
Yeah.
Had hair all over his head.
Yeah.
Had the whole head full of hair.
Yeah.
Now he shaved his head. So that shows you how close I follow. But I'll say this again. Two richly deserving teams. We'll do our loser Monday and go through it. If you don't know what we do, we'll all draft 3 players. It'll be total points scored. I'm in a rut with this loser. I'm not confident, even though.
Well, this is always a good one if you've had a rough start to the year, because this one is a market correction.
Yeah, it could be.
Loser Monday, where like you're sitting on with the number 1 pick. I mean, you'll take obviously the MVP, which pretty much guarantees you 30 points right out of the gate from him
every night.
So JJ and I are certainly at a distinct disadvantage right out of the gate.
I'm not taking Kristaps Porzingis.
That's how it works.
Yeah, and the last time you were this much of a disadvantage is when I had the easy pick of McElroy. Okay, that's
golf
the last.
Is always
that's the last.
Basketball is way more predictable than golf.
Yeah.
And so anyway, you're right. You never know.
Yeah.
But,
unless it's Scotty Scheffler.
Right.
Yeah, but you're not going to need a lot from your 2nd and 3rd round pick to probably finish 2nd in this bet.
The drafting the players is fun. We've done it with NBA and college. What was the North Carolina white guy that they wouldn't throw him the ball?
Mann?
What was the
Bradley Mann?
Remember the North Carolina guy that made all the shots?
Yeah, with the big
I
beard.
don't remember any.
All transferred from West Virginia.
All I knew is they just decided they weren't going to throw him the ball.
And he scored like 8 points in the first 5 minutes of the game.
And
you were the only guy, I think, if I can remember that bet, whoever you were up against was done.
Right.
So you had a singular number that he had to hit.
Right.
And it might have been 14.
Yeah, I think it was Gibby.
Maybe it was Gibby.
Yeah.
And the guy scored like 8 in the first 6 minutes of the game.
And they quit. And
then he just never. They stopped passing.
They never threw him the ball again.
Yeah.
Okay. It was
one of the great rants of all time. It was literally a 12-minute rant to start the show.
They froze him out.
Yeah, it was
They
great.
froze my guy out. I need like 2 more buckets.
Yeah.
And they must have known that I was about to win that thing.
It felt like it.
They must have.
It felt like sabotage.
It was
watching it. Like watching it is somebody who was safe, but watching it from the standpoint of who is going to lose the bet. It was pretty amazing to see how it unfolded.
The rant was so bad that Hayes, Lauren, and Gibby started laughing before the rant because they knew it was coming. they knew the rant was coming, so we'll have some fun with that. We'll do that in the next day or two. We got more to do. An hour to go. This is 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
You're in the pole position with 1010XL this Sunday at Michigan International Speedway.
Let's go racing!
Brought to you by the Plumbers and Pipefitters Local Union 234. From the station with the most horsepower, 1010XL.
Frangie here. Nimnick Chevrolet is proud to be an 8-time Chevrolet Dealer of the Year recipient, the only dealership in Northeast Florida to ever win this prestigious award. Earned by treating customers with courtesy, respect, and fairness, all part of Nimnick's Treating You Right guarantee. Visit nimnickchevy.com to learn more. For 3 generations, Nimnick has been the place customers keep coming back to. I've been buying my vehicles from Nimnick since 1982 because they care about their customers and are invested in our local community, including supporting walk-off charities. And all we're trying to do to help underprivileged kids learn to play baseball. Treating you right, giving back to the community, more choices and better prices for you. So who has put the most years in stands behind a better experience? The answer is simple. Nobody but Nimnick. Visit their showroom off Cassett Avenue or shop 24/7 at nimnickchevy.com. Head to Nimnick today. Chevrolet, together let's drive.
This is Hayes Carline, and I'm so proud of my guy, Leon Searcy.
Man, I used to want to eat all the time, but just 1 month on Physician Guided Weight Loss, and I've already dropped 15 pounds.
And I lost 25. No side effects, just results.
The GLP, one curbs my cravings and keeps me feeling full. It's been easier than I expected, and I feel amazing.
Their staff is great, and best of all, no surprise costs.
If you're ready to bring sexy back this summer, visit pgweightloss.com.
Physician Guided Weight Loss, safe, doctor supervised.
And it works.
Hey folks, Rick Ballou here for John's Auto. They've been a staple in Jacksonville going all the way back to 1985. At John's Auto, they service all makes, all models, cars, trucks, diesel, you name it, they do it. Whether it's routine maintenance or a complete engine overhaul. Call John's Auto on Arlington Road. That's 904-743-3857 or go to johnsautomotivejacks.com.
The best teal-colored coverage includes Mia's Quick Hits.
Get the latest news from inside the building and around the league. I'm Mia O'Brien, 1010XL's NFL Insider.
Driven by Arlington Toyota. Available on the video and social channels of 1010XL.
Hi, I'm Mac with Baker Glass. If you've got fogged up windows, let me help. We'll replace them with clear, insulated units that brighten up your home. People say we're fast, friendly, and reliable. Just check out our Google reviews. Call me today. Baker Glass. No one treats you better.
I'm Drew Scrimshire, president and publisher of the Jacksonville Business Journal. In business, timing is everything. That's why every morning at 8:15, our morning edition delivers the most important business news straight to the inboxes of Jacksonville's decision makers, executives, entrepreneurs, investors, and industry leaders. Want to know what the First Coast power players are reading before they start their day? Join them. Subscribe today to the Jacksonville Business Journal Morning Edition at bizjournals.com/Jacksonville.
Summer's here, and you can now get almost anything you need for your sunny days delivered with Uber Eats. What do we mean by almost? Well, you can't get a well-groomed lawn delivered, but you can get a chicken parmesan delivered. A cabana? That's a no. But a banana? That's a yes. A nice tan? Sorry, nope. But a box fan? Happily, yes. A day of sunshine? No. A box of fine wines? Yes. Uber Eats can definitely get you that. Get almost anything delivered with Uber Eats. Order now. Alcohol in select markets. Product availability may vary by region. See app for details.
Lucas Tree Service is a certified arborist and a local family-owned business with over 45 years of experience. They specialize in tree removal, trimming, and stump grinding for both residential and commercial properties. Get prepared for storm season and receive top-notch customer service from Lucas Tree Service, 904-241-3533. Online at lucastreeservice.com.
Frank Frangie here. I was talking to a buddy the other day. His HOA told him his old fence had to go. I said, man, call Coil Fencing. They've been around the block since 1927. Heck, they probably built half the fences in Jacksonville. They do it all. Tough chain link for security. Those fancy aluminum ones the HOA actually likes. Nearly a century of keeping yards safe and looking good. If you need a fence, call Coil. You can trust the folks at Coil. 904-356-4821 or visit coiljacks.com, COYLE, jacks.com.
At Tucker Equipment Rental in Neptune Beach, you just don't rent quality machines, you rent quality customer service. Hi, I'm Kevin.
And I'm Dave. Tucker Equipment Rental has been supplying Jacksonville with equipment and event rental for over 50 years.
From commercial and homeowner projects, we've got what you need: lifts, dirt equipment, and landscape equipment.
And don't forget about event rentals, from festivals to weddings to backyard barbecues.
Local, knowledgeable, and always ready to help.
Tucker Equipment Rentals.
You need it, we've got it, come see us.
The flagship station of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Want a simple way to boost your company's image without a big renovation? A fresh paint job in your brand's colors can increase recognition up to 80%. At Performance Painting, we help companies stand out with clean, on-brand finishes that impress clients and energize employees. From color consultations to low-odor coatings that won't disrupt operations, we've got you covered. Visit performance-painting.com to schedule a friendly estimate. Performance Painting. Prepare, protect, preserve.
Performance Painting.
David here with Royal Pest Services. Man, don't let your yard be torn up by that heavy aeration machine this spring. Visit RoyalPestServices.com to learn more about our granular aeration. Broadcast throughout the tree and shrubs to break up that compacted soil. Visit RoyalPestServices.com.
I'm Max Fink with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update, brought to you by Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. With the departure of Evan Ingram this offseason, the Jaguars will look to Brenton Strange to fill the holes at the tight end position. Strange got plenty of reps last season as Ingram missed time with an injury, as he caught 40 passes for 411 yards and 2 touchdowns last season. 1010XL's Rick Ballou got to speak to Strange on the importance of the team retaining tight ends coach Rich Angulo, as Strange clearly has lots of respect for him.
It was very important. I'm happy that they did it. Rich is a great guy, and he's a great coach as well. He brings the intensity each and every day, and that's something that I hate about him is that he brings the energy, you know. I don't got to be nobody else. I just come out here and not be me.
Coach Angulo is entering his 4th season with the Jaguars as tight ends coach and his 12th year coaching in the NFL overall. It's 82 degrees at 5 o'clock. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Nimnick Tuesday on The Frangie Show. Nimnick, your friends in the car business since 1941.
We want to thank my friends from the Nimnick family of dealerships. Nimnick Chevrolet on Cast Nimnick Buick GMC Phillips Highway, Frangie Carline, La Selva with you. Quick thought about this guy, Olivier Roux. We talked about at the top of the program. Here's where I kind of was. He's 7'9". And by the way, in basketball, you get measured with your shoes on. So Golden said he's 7'7.5" barefoot, which is really tall, by the way. But you get measured with your shoes on. In fact, when Alex Condon went to the NBA, he was measured over 7 feet with the shoes on. So you get tall.
Imagine Eric Armstead and then add a foot.
Yeah, right. Think about that. So the fact that he doesn't play at all, I wonder a lot of things. My first thought was, would he be better off going to Stetson? Would he be better off going to Mercer? Or a bigger school, just not, I mean, God bless his soul. Of all the schools you picked the best program in the country, at least last year. I mean, they won the thing. You picked the number one team in the country. Well, a lot of guys aren't getting on the floor on the number one team in the country with a very, very deep front court. For the record, by the way, Sam Alexis, who's a pretty good player, and was healthy by the NCAA tournament, he didn't get on the floor either. So, and he went to Indiana. And I think Alexis, by the way,
and Alexis averaged 14 points a game at Chattanooga.
Yeah, correct. I think Sam Alexis, in about 99% of the Florida basketball teams,
yes,
99% or more,
he would have been fine.
He would have been in the rotation. Yeah. He just was on this team that had Chinyelu and Condon and Houck, and then Henlockton came back. There was no spot for him. So if you're so good that Alexis can't play at all in the NCAA tournament, and because by the way, there's another 6'11" guy. Is it Victor Milicic or Milicic?
Yes.
He's on their team too. Is he a scholarship player? He's a scholarship guy.
Yeah.
A 6'11" guy that's not going to play at all either. So I'm wondering if this guy, the 7'9" guy, must not be a very good player. But would he be better? I guess my question is, would he be better? Is he better served to go up against this great front line? And like Golden said in the story in the Orlando paper, that maybe his goal needs to be in the rotation in 2 years, like by the time he's a junior, or would he be better off to go to Iowa Wesleyan? That's my question.
And it's a great one. I think it just depends on the patience of the family and the player. And it appears that the player and the family realized that this was a long-term development plan. And, and so in that, stability is important. And if Olivier Rioux and his family believe that Todd Golden is the coach for him to bring out the best in his game, and, I'm sure it's worth something that he's going up against these guys in practice day in and day out. So I'm sure that makes him better. But yeah, it does make you wonder in terms of the way that collegiate athletics is now structured. You almost wonder if will big schools work out deals with small schools as almost like a farm system? Could you see a Florida go to, let's say, Stetson, to your point, and say, can you guys take this kid for a year and you guys play him, particularly if it's a coach that has a similar style, and maybe even Todd Golden's a young coach, but maybe if it's an older coach at a big program that's got apprentice that's gotten a head job somewhere, and it's so the principles are sort of the same. Take him for a year, play him, and then he'll come back to us in a year. If you're a small school, would you do that? And I don't know that you would. It'd be an interesting question, with obviously JU and UNF being here. Is that a way in which you could try to build something, is have kind of a deal worked out with 3 or 4 really good programs where every year maybe you take for just a year a player that isn't going to play much for them but has an idea of, I want to get minutes somewhere else and then I want to come back. It's probably too convoluted at this stage of where collegiate athletics is to work, but it does make you think, because he's not going to get a lot of game action. I mean, best case scenario next year, barring just mass attrition along that front court, is that Olivier Rioux, I would imagine, is going to average 4.7 minutes a game next year.
Yeah,
because Florida plays a lot of, they'll play a decent amount of cupcakes they always do.
And that's where the 4 minutes will come from.
And that's where the 4 minutes will come from. And then they'll have a few league games where, on this team looks like they'll probably be on the better end of the blowout. But, last year they did get routed in Knoxville. So, maybe out of your 18 league games, maybe 4 or 5.
Right.
I wouldn't think it's a big role.
And I applaud him for not leaving, because the world now, if I'm not starting, I'm departing.
Right.
Well, the truth, at least now, is this is one guy that says, apparently, is going to say, no, I'm going to sit here and wait my turn, and I'm going to go up against Chinyelu and Henlockton and Condon every day. And because I'm going up against them every day for 2 years, if I was ever going to be ready, that's what it would take. And there's something to be said for that now, too. I mean, if he goes to any other school, he's not going to practice. I mean, any other school. He's not going to practice against the guys he gets to practice against now.
And again, that's my thing. Is there more of a long-term vision here with this player and his family than what you would normally encounter in the world of college sports? I will say this: if he can be patient and give it one more year, well, then they're all gone.
Right.
I mean, Condon's definitely going into the draft next year. I have to think Houck is going into the draft next year. Chinyelu tested the waters this year.
Right.
So guys that do that, normally this is their last year of college. They don't normally then play 2 more years after testing the waters. And Hanlogden will be a senior, I think. He was at Marshall and then 2 years at Florida.
Yeah, senior.
I mean, he burned the red shirt this year.
Yeah, and he'll be a senior. So in this day and age, he's down only 3 years of eligibility left. But this is probably last year.
Probably his last year. So if you can be patient for 1 more year and understand you have 1 more year of development, well, then he might be a starter on whatever the 26 team looks like.
If he can play it all.
Yeah.
So all right, so we'll talk about that closer to basketball season. One other thing before we get to headlines. We talked about this a minute ago about baseball, about college baseball. Back to the big leagues for a second. JJ, do I understand it right that now that ESPN is out, a lot of people are bidding on that Sunday night package, NBC among them, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm praying it doesn't go to like some Amazon.
Well, that's what I'm wanting. You got to believe the streaming people are going to be in play. And some they already are. They've got the Apple the Sunday morning game,
Friday night game. I spend mini rant here.
Yeah.
To watch the Braves, I spend whatever $250 a year, whatever it is.
Yep.
On Friday nights, if they're on Apple, whatever, I can't even watch it.
Yeah,
they're not on the MLB package.
Correct. Sunday
really annoys me.
Sunday morning also. So, but let's kick this around a little bit. What if NBC does get it, and NBC's got the Sunday night package? Do you put Tirico on it?
Absolutely.
Because if Tirico's on it, doesn't it suddenly just become really big?
Feels big.
It almost is bigger now than it would be if ESPN kept it, right?
I agree.
I mean, I mean, think about that. I mean, I think
a lot more people were able to watch.
You've got Tirico, and you know it'll be like Shohei and Judge will be the first game that they do.
Of course it will.
So,
but if you have, and do you almost turn it into Sunday night in baseball, whatever they call it? Sunday, what do they call the football on Sunday?
Sunday Night Football.
But they call it something. Sunday football in America.
Oh yeah.
Sunday Night in America.
Yeah. What if you do the same thing with baseball?
Yeah.
You turn into Sunday Night Baseball in America, and Mike Tirico's on the call. All of it, and you'll go. The color guy's easy. You'll go find the biggest star.
Mm-hmm.
Roger Clemens will walk in there. You know what I mean? It'll be some mega star, and that they'll turn into someone great. So
NBC, they did get the NBA, and they did just hire Michael Jordan.
Yeah, that's the best point of what I just said.
Like that,
right? The great point. They got the NBA. They've already got Breen or whoever now, and they just Breen was on ABC, I guess. So, but anyway, they just got Jordan. So. I think NBC. How about this? We're still talking. What if CBS got it? They had it back in the day. Would CBS be interested? I mean, would they?
It seems cheap.
Right. It doesn't seem like a fit. What if Jim Nantz was calling it? I mean, it seems awkward. The Tirico to NBC seems more natural than Nantz.
I would agree.
When I said it, it sounded funny coming out of my mouth. But again. Go big. Don't just settle for TBS and Brian Anderson, who's very good, by the way. But if you're TBS and Brian Anderson, you didn't move up. It's lateral move at best.
Yeah.
And if you're leaving ESPN, it's probably not even that. But if you go to NBC and Tirico's calling it, and it's Sunday night in America, Sunday night baseball in America. But what if? And I doubt CBS is going to suddenly preempt 60 Minutes. But it still ran through my mind. What if CBS on Sunday night had Jim Nantz and whoever calling the game? That'd be better than TBS, TNT streaming service, wouldn't it?
It would. I mean, I think NBC's the better fit. But,
Me too.
But I mean, and that's the thing. I'm really interested in seeing the interest level from those networks because it's going to be a really good gauge of how the world views Major League Baseball as a product.
And I will say this, as much as I hate to admit this. And JJ and I are on opposite ends of the world here. I think baseball should have equity of spending. I think it should be like on the other sports. I don't like it. I hate the salary structure of baseball. Maybe because my team sucks and it's cheap, but I hate it. But I will say this: whether it's all the home runs, whether it's Shohei, whether it's Judge, baseball has gained a little more. Whether it's Skeens.
Oh, the ratings are up this year on every platform by a good amount.
Yeah, they've gained momentum. I didn't even know that, JJ. I just feel it. You know?
And also Sunday Night Baseball, which is funny that Hayes just said that. Dodgers versus Yankees. Yeah. Not surprisingly, the game the other night was like the highest rated game on ESPN in 7 years or something.
I believe it because you sense that it's gained momentum.
And they were both in the World Series.
Right,
so,
right.
like they're becoming household names. Real quick, there is an article I just saw from 8 hours ago that is upsetting me. It says Apple TV Plus is reportedly outbidding NBC for more MLB games. But if Manfred was smart, you maybe take less money to be in front of more eyeballs.
100%, yeah. 200%, yes. And one other thing baseball's done well, again, as much as I hate it, and I think every team should have the same salary range. Here's what, by the way, in the National League, do you know what cities the 3 first-place teams are in?
No.
Not Atlanta.
New York, Chicago, and Los Angeles.
That'll work.
So, and
Philly's not far behind.
And Philly's right behind. And in the American League, New York is one of them too. Detroit's ahead, and Detroit is a very big market. It's a top 7, top 8 market. So
I think they have the best record in baseball.
They do. They're the only 40-win team in baseball right now. But the point is, all those teams that if you add all that up, all those teams are playing in front of big markets. They're playing in front of big crowds. They have big TV draws, and there is momentum.
The attendance also looks good. Looking at the numbers, I mean, the Dodgers are averaging over 50,000 fans a game. The Yankees, Padres, and Phillies are all over 41,000 per game. There are 12 clubs overall averaging over 31,000 per game. So again, if you're talking about structuring the TV package where you're highlighting the very best, like we see the Sunday Night Football game in the NFL, yeah, I mean, I think that they would have some compelling matchups that they could offer, and I think the crowds would radiate on the screen too, which I think helps as well. Creating that sort of the crowd sort of acts as your studio audience, for a sitcom, and it comes across at a sporting event. If the crowd is really into it, it's one of the big reasons college football.
No question.
I mean, it radiates off the screen when you watch a college football game, and the crowd is electric. And so, there's plenty of spots in baseball. You got, again, if you've got a dozen teams that are averaging over 31,000 per home game, it's a pretty good crowd.
I just watched the Pirates-Padres series in San Diego. To your point, Hayes, it felt like a college football game. And I watched all 3 games, and you know what I mean? It felt the way you just said.
Padres games are awesome. Yeah, I want to go there bad.
I mean, it felt like a college football. Just watching it, it felt like what you said. So we'll try.
Quickly, before we break, Taylor just sent me this. So MLB viewership on Fox this year, plus 10%, ESPN, plus 22%, TBS, plus 16%, up 70% in the 18 to 34 demographic, MLB Network, 13%, MLB TV, plus 27%.
So that shows
just this season.
2 things. Number one, Taylor, thank you for contributing to the show. Taylor,
yes.
Taylor Dahl, one of my favorite all-time people. However, did you see her shirt today?
I did not.
Did you see Taylor today?
I did not
JJ?
see Taylor.
No,
unfortunately, I have not seen
Is Taylor still here?
I'm not sure.
Was she texting you that from okay?
She's usually home by now. So she might be driving home.
Now that the Cubs have like the greatest team, she's got a T-shirt on. It's got that damn W. It's the biggest W I've ever seen. It's the biggest W on a shirt of all time. There's never been a shirt with a bigger letter on it than that W. That damn W right across the shirt, JJ. I can't believe you didn't see it. Okay,
I'm glad I did.
Of course,
because I haven't seen a W in a long time.
That's a big old W. We love our Taylor, that's for sure. Take a break. Headlines are next. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Frank Frangie here. These days, it's hard to know which companies to trust. But when it comes to banking, I trust South State Bank. South State truly values its customers, and they work hard to create meaningful, lasting relationships. I love going into my local branch. I see the same smiling faces I've seen for years. South State is the largest bank headquartered in Florida, so they're able to offer all the banking services you need. You can trust South State Bank. Banking forward. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
What are the many ways to experience 1010XL?
Why don't we just take it from the top?
Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, at 1010XL.
Storms don't wait, so why should you? Protect your home and your wallet with Universal Roof and Contracts. Save 15% on roof replacements and repairs now through June 30th. And financing is available with payments as low as $115. Call 855-ROOF-HELP for your free inspection. Universal Roof and Contracting. Protecting your home, building your trust. License number CCC 057165, CBC 1258484.
UniversalRoof.com.
It's the event everyone waits for. Now at Beard's Diamonds. Buy one, get one free on all wedding bands. Now for a limited time, when you buy his wedding band, get hers free. Buy hers, get his free. Save up to $10,000. Are you about to get married or been married for years thinking it's time for an upgrade? There's nothing that symbolizes your love more than the wedding band. Beard's has hundreds and hundreds of bands from top designers in white gold, yellow gold, rose gold, titanium, platinum. plain bands, channel set bands, pave set, eternity bands. And for men, masculine bands, wide, modern, with and without diamonds, hammered, brushed, engraved, lots of colors. Come to Beards now and find the wedding band that reflects your style and your personality. Buy one, get the second one free. The big box corporate jewelry stores can't or won't do this, but Beards can. And it's happening now through June 23rd. Buy one wedding band, get the second one free. Don't miss this opportunity to celebrate your eternal love with the eternal symbol, Beards Diamonds, at St. John's Town Center.
Attention North Florida, it's time to elevate your game night. Head to Best Bet, your premier destination for poker. With locations in Jacksonville, Orange Park, and St. Augustine, we have a seat ready for you. Whether you're a seasoned poker player or just starting out, we have you covered with easy-to-learn games like Ultimate Texas Hold'em or 3-card poker. And it's not just poker. With delicious food, lively bars, and big screen events, there's something for everyone. Visit bestbetjacks.com to learn more. That's bestbetjacks.com. And ante up for fun.
Hacker here. Y'all know I needed to do something about my weight. When I saw Matt and Mike eating to lose weight, I figured that could probably work for me. And it did. Just look at me now. If you need a weight loss plan that works, visit awaken180weightloss.com.
Craving a cold one? Well, zip into one of the great gate locations you see all over town and pick up a cold Bud Light, or a Natty, or an Ultra. Maybe a 12-pack of the King of Beers, or some cold Coronas. It's all happening at your local gate convenience store. Slide on in today.
Discuss the beautiful game. The Coaches Show presented by Sporting Jacks. Cole Pepper, Sporting Jacks head of soccer Mark Warburton, and Sporting Jacks women's coach Stacey Baylor. Get an hour of soccer talk Tuesday evenings at 6 on 1010 a.m.
Been in a car crash? I'm local attorney Rick Alexander, and I've made it our mission at the Alexander Law Practice to listen to you so I can fight for the best possible result for you. I've been practicing over 30 years, and our team focuses on guiding you through the entire process. And because fees and reimbursement costs come out at the end of the case, I will never ask you to come out of pocket. For a free review, call 904-400-6600 or log on to alexanderlawpractice.com, Jacksonville.
Jumbo Shrimp Baseball is home this week at the newly renovated VyStar Ballpark. It's a Forever Vets Dog Day tonight, followed by a Wear It Home Wednesday t-shirt giveaway presented by Renewal by Anderson and Am Better Health. River City Pride and VyStar present Pride Night on Coors Light Thursday, then fireworks Friday and Saturday. Baseball all weekend. JackShrimp.com for tickets. Jumbo Shrimp Baseball, affordable family fun.
Find out what new golf equipment could help your game.
Well, I'm just a humble golf pro. Could I help you?
Get great golf tips and talk from the experts on the Edwin Watts Golf Hour.
Got to figure out why I'm still shaking the ball.
Saturday morning at 10 on 1010XL.
How many different denominations of paper money are currently being used?
When you file a claim with Southern Oak Insurance, we schedule one of our trusted vendors to work directly with you, which means a faster claim resolution. Find out more at southernoak.com.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
There are 7 denominations of U.S. currency: the 1, 2, 5, 10, 20, 50, and $100 bills.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
Home is where your story begins. And at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing, we're here to make it the healthiest, most comfortable place it could be. Whether it's fresh, clean air, dependable plumbing, or reliable power, we take care of it all. From routine maintenance to state-of-the-art solutions, Donovan keeps your home running smoothly. Because at Donovan, we believe your home isn't just where you live, it's where your health meets comfort. Call Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing at 904-270-COOL or visit us online. Let's make your home healthier, safer, and better together.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, it's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch every day from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? Gather round. It's Hayes' Headlines, presented by Harrell and Harrell. Don't settle for less than you deserve. Hear all about it. Here's Hayes Carline.
Welcome back to the Frangie Show. Frank Frangie is here. We've got JJ LaSelva. I am Hayes Carline, and thank you to our friends at Harrell and Harrell. Give them a call at 251-1111. We're going to start with the Jaguars, as we often do, because the Jaguars Digital tweeted out an amazing Travis Hunter highlight from, I'm assuming, today's OTA. Travis Hunter with one of the greatest interceptions you'll ever see on a football field. Now, I will caveat this with he's covering Darius Lassiter. So, I'm not expecting Darius Lassiter to make the 53-man roster. But having said that, Hunter runs with him on a deep route the entire way down the sideline, right next to him, turns his body at the last second, gets an arm up to tap the ball, is somehow then able, as he's diving to the ground, to control the ball and make the catch. It's one of the best interceptions that you will see on a practice field.
Yeah, I will say this. Of all the things we get excited about every year, and we're always excited in June because we're undefeated and we have one team, so we get so excited about it. But I will say the excitement about what I think we're going to get ready to see with Travis Hunter trumps an awful lot. I'm trying to think when we were this excited to watch what a rookie had. Ryan Thomas Jr. turned out great, but you didn't know this. I remember we started going to camp. He kept running by people. Man, he's pretty fast, but it wasn't like this. Trevor, I guess, although it takes a quarterback a while, but I think Trevor probably qualifies. Jalen Ramsey, maybe. Leonard Fournette, I thought he'd be good, but I don't know that I was sitting on pins and needles waiting to see what a good running back he would, right? Jalen maybe a little bit. Jalen probably the closest to it in terms of excitement level of what this guy's going to be. But I can't wait, man. I can't wait to see what it's like because he's also one of these guys that no matter how good he is in practice, he's better on Sunday. He's always been that guy. Can't wait.
I think it's the most exciting prospect they've ever drafted, because even Jalen Ramsey that year, there was a little bit of a knock of can he catch?
Right.
Like
that's
coming
right.
out of Florida State, there was a lot of issues with drops and things like that, and it was like, yes, he's a great corner, but will he be able to actually create turnovers? And he was able to do that. But I mean,
you're right. Trevor might be you're right. He probably is the first. Trevor's probably right there.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm thinking of all. Tony Baselli was the second overall pick, but no one's super excited about a lineman. Watching a lineman play, Fred Taylor was a top 10 pick. I was excited, but it probably didn't feel like this felt right before the season. So he's second overall pick. I guess we should feel that way.
Yeah. If you haven't seen the video, go check it out.
It is amazing.
It's pretty awesome. By the way, Liam Cohen will be throwing out the first pitch tomorrow at the Jumbo Shrimp game.
Don't bounce it, Liam.
Yeah.
Rule of thumb. You can throw it over the catcher's head. You can't bounce it. He'll be good. He's a quarterback in college. He'll be good.
Absolutely.
Good athlete.
Let's get to news around the NFL. The Texans are dealing with a little bit of a quarterback issue. C.J. Stroud is not throwing in OTAs because of shoulder soreness. Now, Houston coach DeMeco Ryans was obviously asked about this. He says, I'm not at all concerned. C.J. Stroud will be fine for when we need him to be ready. But even if it's a 1 in 100, this is not something you want to hear if you're the Houston Texans.
I'll say the same thing about him I said about DJ Lagway. My guess is he'll be fine, but I wish he didn't have it. And if I was a Houston Texans fan, I'd say the same thing that we Gator fans said about Lagway. I'm sure he's going to be fine, but I'd rather that story have not come out. So I think that's the position of the Houston folks. And my guess is he'll be fine, but we'll see.
Yeah, Stroud sacked 52 times last year. Is that Texans offensive line was just a disaster. So we'll see, but something to monitor with C.J. Stroud. And again, kind of like Lagway, even into the season, because Lagway is this kind of player now, and Stroud will be this kind of player. Like when they get sacked, as a fan or anybody watching the game, you're going to immediately look like, is he up?
Right.
Is he getting the next call? And so something to monitor for sure when it comes to the AFC South. Let's get into college football. Just an absolute crippling loss for the Florida football program as former game changer coordinator Chris Couch is leaving for Houston. Couch ran UF special teams for 2 years to disastrous results before Napier brought in Joe Houston last year as an advisor. Joe Houston was then promoted to special teams coordinator this offseason. Florida much better on special teams this past fall, but in Napier's first 2 years, it was an abomination.
So you're saying, make sure you're right about this. I don't know if I agree with you on this. You're saying that 2 years ago, when the whole special team ran on the field against Arkansas while the offense was trying to spike the ball was a bad thing.
Not good.
You thought it was a bad thing.
Yeah, that was not good.
Why does he call him game changer? Why didn't he call him special teams coach?
Why can't he just fire people? I mean, that's what I don't get. You're not the Colquitt County high school football coach, Billy Napier. You're not at Louisiana Lafayette anymore. You make $7.5 million a year. Fire people when they underperform. And instead, he lets them linger on staff for years on end. And then finally, when another entity is dumb enough to hire these people, then that's how he gets rid of them. If you're going to run a college football operation, you've got to have the ability to fire people. It's terrible. No one wants to do it, but you're making big money. This is the responsibility of your job, and it's shameful that this guy was allowed to stay on staff until another football program hired him.
Yeah, I will say this to your point. There's always, when a guy gets fired or not fired, there's always stories behind the story that we don't know, and I always defend the coach's decision, or often do. But it does seem like an awful lot of mediocre, bad coaches don't get run off from there. They sometimes leave at their own volition. That's a good point. I mean, it really does, doesn't it?
Has he fired anybody on staff?
No, I'm that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I'm thinking back to it. Not very often.
No, he'll redistribute.
Yeah,
but
or a guy will leave.
Yeah, or a guy will leave.
Hard to argue that.
Yeah, let's get it to golf. The U.S. Open qualifying was yesterday. Cam Young earns a spot, edging out Max Homa and Ricky Fowler, among others, in a 5-man playoff. We're getting close. Oakmont next week.
I got to tell you, and I'm a bold thinker, Hayes. I like to live life on the edge. You know this. I like Scheffler.
Yeah. That we talked about Brandel Chambly. Did you see his tweet today?
No, what did he say today?
Some fan asked him, what do you think the winning score will be at Oakmont next week? And his response was, whatever Scotty Scheffler shoots.
or what he wants it to be, right?
So we'll see.
I love the U.S. Open. And in Oakmont, I can tell you, they can make Oakmont, of course, near Pittsburgh, of course, they can make Oakmont treacherous.
Yeah.
People think, well, Johnny Miller shot 63. It's an easy course. They can make that thing brutal if they want to.
And obviously the rough will be a big storyline, but don't forget about the greens. The greens will be the fastest these players see all year.
Right.
I mean, they will be running, 15? I mean,
15,
on the stent.
15's awfully fast, but yeah, they'll be really going.
It's the sort of event where
I agree.
You do worry, like, okay, don't lose the course.
Yeah.
And they won't. Oakmont's hosted the U.S. Open more than any other
that's right.
venue.
But you're right. I agree with you.
But it will be diabolical. I can't wait. Let's get to the NBA. We talked about the Oklahoma City Thunder early in the show. Would it be good for the NBA if they're the next dynasty? I mean, we would have said the same things about Golden State 10 years ago about, is it good for the NBA if Golden State ends up becoming a dynasty? And I think it was good, ultimately, what Steph Curry and Klay Thompson and everybody was able to build there.
Yeah.
Oklahoma City, a lot of similarities.
Great point. I think the better comparison for me would be the Spurs, because the market's the same. Golden State, at least, is where there's a bunch of other pro teams. San Antonio only has the Spurs. Oklahoma City only has the Thunder. The cities are kind of similar. But what made the Spurs great is they kept winning. But then they kept the same team, or the same key guys, same foundation. So you got to know Duncan. You got to know Manu Ginobili. You got to know Tony Parker. And, of course, you got to know Pop. I think if that happens, Hayes, if they keep winning with the same core, then you get to know the core, and I think that would be good for the league. So to me, the better comp is the Spurs. But I hear you. Your points, I'm making the same point you are. You can come from a franchise that's not very well known, but if you win enough, even if you become a Goliath of sorts, that's good for the league.
Yeah, it will really be interesting. Oklahoma City has an incredibly young roster. They've got 2 first-round picks coming up in this draft, and they have a lot of cap space. So it certainly looks like it's going to be the Oklahoma City's world in the NBA for quite some time to come, and obviously they're a heavy favorite to defeat Indiana for the championship. The Knicks fired Tom Thibodeau today, led the Knicks to the first East Final in 25 years, but he's out.
Back-to-back 50-win seasons, first finals in all those years. Golly, and listen, I know the book on him. He grinds and he wears players down and he doesn't connect. But my goodness, that's an awfully good year to be run out of town. It really is.
The Magic have new jerseys. They released that today. It seems like the fans are pretty excited. A little bit of a throwback element to what the Orlando Magic are doing.
I'll be interested to see if this is when the Magic can finally make a little bit of a run. Ben Caro's been in the league enough times now. There's 2 or 3 really good players there. We'll see what they do. They've got 2 picks in the first round. I'll be interested to see.
The East is so bad.
And the East is there for the taking. I'll be interested to see if this is the stretch when the Magic become relevant again.
I think drafting Walter Clayton Jr. would do wonders for that.
And most people believe, if not, I think they picked 16 and 24.
Yeah, take him at 16.
If not, but if they don't take him at 16 and he's there at 24, I think it's roundly accepted that they're probably going to.
Yeah, hopefully that's what happens. Happy birthday to Al Horford, the two-time national champ at Florida.
I love Al Horford.
Turns 39 today. Isn't that hard to believe? Yeah, he's a great dude.
Just won an NBA title last year.
Yeah, Horford is a 5-time All-Star and won a championship with the Celtics.
Yeah, and I tell you what, hearing that, the team winning this year reminded us of the last time they won. Having Lee Humphrey on the air with us a week or so ago, a couple weeks ago, we've been able to kind of reconnect with that team. What a stretch that was, and what a wonderful Gator, and what a wonderful NBA player Al Horford has been.
Without a doubt. Let's get to college baseball. Florida State will travel to Oregon State for Super Regionals. The Beavers crushed USC 9-0 last night to win their regional.
Yeah, I think Florida State's got every chance to get to Omaha again. I think Oregon State has had some good years. I don't think they're as good as Florida State's baseball team. I tend to always favor the Southern teams, and probably that's part of that's not knowing the Western teams as well as I should. But you got to win 2 out of 3. You're going to win the first one because Jamie Arnold's going to pitch. I think he's going to be the first pick in the draft. Just a devastating left-handed pitcher. I think FSU's going to wind up in Omaha.
The walk-off charities auction is live. Frank, give us an update on some of the items that you are taking a peek at. Well, I will tell you this.
Yeah.
I placed a bid today.
You know what? I'll bet I know what it was on.
Oh, do you know?
I don't know for sure. Okay. I got a hunch I know what it was, but a few items been bid on. Look, it's going to last through Monday. I appreciate you asking. We added 2 items today. We added a Trevor Lawrence autographed jersey.
Ooh.
And we added a Brian Thomas Jr. autographed football.
Did you?
We had BTJ. We added, thank you to the Jaguars for being so kind, and they sponsor our tournament. They're one of our big sponsors financially, and they help us so many ways. So thank you to my friends at the Jaguars for being so kind to us, as they always are. But look, we've got 4 club seats to the opener when the Panthers come to town. 4 clubbies. We got 4 clubbies to Florida, Georgia. We got a Paul Skeens autographed baseball. We got so many good things on there, and I mean, Mike Tyson autographed gloves. You got to go see the list of stuff. Somehow, some way, when I wasn't looking, they slipped in the Sid Bream autographed slide, which I don't know how that got by me, but somehow it did. So that's on there too. But we really have cool items, and experience in Atlanta, Braves tickets, and more. A suite at the Jumbo Shrimp, and everything you buy, everything you bid on helps the little kid play baseball. So walkoffcharities.com. Thank you for asking. Walkoffcharities.com is where the auction items are. It's in conjunction with our Dailies Walk-Off Charity Golf Classic, which is coming up on Monday. Our show will be live there, so will Helmets and Heels in prime time. So go look at that. If you have a chance, help a little kid play baseball, place a bid on an item. That'd be really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a phenomenal auction and a phenomenal cause, obviously. Let's get you guys out on our musical note of the day. Let's pay tribute today to the Doors. On this date, back in 1967, Light My Fire debuted on the Billboard Hot 100. It would climb to number 1 by late July. The Doors were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1993.
What a great band, by the way. And with the local Jim Morrison, an FSU guy, by the way. Yeah. So, but what a great band that I'm guilty. I talk about a lot of old music, and that's one I don't talk about enough. The Doors were a great band. They're tragic story, but a great band. Well done. A great song from a great band from yesteryear. We'll take a break, wrap the program after this.
The time to hesitate is through. No time to walk.
It's the ride home with The Frangie Show. From the Harrell and Harrell studio, don't settle for less than you deserve.
This is Brent Musburger's Visa in Action update on 1010XL. Brought to you by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. When you're stuck, call the Duck. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
The NHL Stanley Cup Finals beginning on Wednesday night. The Edmonton Oilers hosting the Florida Panthers in Game 1, a rematch of last year's finals, which went 7 games. Edmonton minus a goal and a half plus 180 on the puck line. Florida getting a goal and a half minus 235 on the money line. The Panthers are plus 110. Edmonton minus 130. The over-under goal total is at 6.5. The over plus 110. The under minus 130. The Panthers are 8-2 in 10 road playoff games this season. They're also plus 110 to to repeat as Stanley Cup champions. Edmonton at -130, trying to become the first Canadian team to win the Stanley Cup since Montreal in 1993. Earn cash back on your gaming transactions with the GBank Signature Visa Card at vsin.com/GBank. I'm Tony Desiri with your Visa in Action update on 1010XL.
Plumbing problems, AC not blowing, septic tank doing whatever septic tanks do? Don't call 3 different companies and play contractor roulette. Just call Duck Duck Rooter. We handle plumbing, septic, and air conditioning all under one roof. That's one call, one company, and one bill that won't give you a heart attack. For fast, reliable, and slightly ducky service, call 904-862-6769 or waddle over to duckduckrooter.com. When you're stuck, call the Duck.
Hi, folks. I'm Frank Frangie. If you have a sweet tooth like me, the sweetest desserts in town come from Spoonful Bakery. Spoonful is an online bakery. They deliver boxes of assorted desserts right to your home or office. They're so good, and they make for great gifts for friends or clients. If you want custom orders, wedding cakes or birthday cakes, or catered desserts for an event, they are the best. Log on to spoonful-bakery.com or call them at 904-515-4984. That's Spoonful Bakery for the sweetest desserts in town.
As a law enforcement officer, safe roads are one of my top priorities, ensuring everyone can get home safely each day. Some never will, due to aggressive driving, being distracted, or speeding on the roads. And too often, that results in the toughest part of my job and the longest walk in my life. I'm so sorry. I have some very sad news to share with you.
9 people will be killed on our Florida roadways today. Don't let it be you or a person you love. Buckle up every trip, every time. Let's get everyone home safely. A message from Florida Department of Transportation, Target Zero. For more information, visit targetzerofl.com.
Your yard starting to look a little like a jungle? Well, it might be time for a little TLC. Or how about RTC, Russell Tree Care? At Russell Tree Care, they give your trees the perfect haircut. Whether it's trimming or removing, they'll make sure your yard looks its best, all while keeping safety as a top priority. Call Russell Tree Care today and let them take care of your trees. Russell Tree Care, 844-4Mr. Wood. That's 844-467-9663. Or visit RussellTreeCareLLC.com today. Your trees will thank you.
Want a simple way to boost your company's image without a big renovation? A fresh paint job in your brand's colors can increase recognition up to 80%. At Performance Painting, we help companies stand out with clean, on-brand finishes that impress clients and energize employees. From color consultations to low-odor coatings that won't disrupt operations, we've got you covered. Visit performance-painting.com to schedule a friendly estimate. Performance Painting. Prepare, protect, preserve.
Performance Painting. Cooking with Prisco.
These things are wonderful. You're going to love it. Have a roll.
Catch CBS Sports senior NFL writer Pete Prisco every Friday afternoon on The Frangie Show. Brought to you by Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles on 1010XL.
Summer's here, and you can now get almost anything you need for your sunny days delivered with Uber Eats. What do we mean by almost? Well, you can't get a well-groomed lawn delivered, but you can get a chicken parmesan delivered. A cabana? That's a no. But a banana? That's a yes. A nice tan? Sorry, nope. But a box fan? Happily yes. A day of sunshine? No. A box of fine wines? Yes. Uber Eats can definitely get you that. Get almost anything delivered with Uber Eats. Order now. Alcohol in select markets. Product availability may vary by region. See app for details.
Hey folks, Frank Frangie here reminding you the 4th annual Dailies Walk-Off Charities Golf Classic is right around the corner. We sure appreciate our friends at Dailies, always making it possible, and appreciate so many of you who have played over the years. This year, we're back at Deer Creek Country Club Monday, June 9th at 9 a.m. with tons of prizes, auction items, and an awful lot of fun. You'll even meet some of our young walk-off players. Just go to walkoffcharities.com for more information. Can't wait to see you on June 9th at the Dailies Walk-Off Charities Golf Classic.
This is Mike Lynch, PGA Golf Professional. Take it from me, if you're dealing with an orthopedic issue, talk to the doctors at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, where you're treated like a pro.
This is Dr. Kevin Murphy with Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, where athletes are treated like pros. Thanks to all of you who have allowed us to be part of your recovery. Call us at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists if you ever have a need.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Hey, Hicken here. Tired of glasses or contacts? Discover customized vision solutions at Bowden Eye & Associates. Dr. Bowden's team offers cutting-edge options like Evo implantable Collamer lenses or refractive lens exchange and classic LASIK, designed to fit your life. Picture perfect vision for reading, driving, or just enjoying the day. It's easier than you think. Call now for your free screening. Bow 9 Associates, they're keeping the First Coast focused.
Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
Instant Keys saves the day if you have lost or broken keys. They can program new keys and remotes for nearly every make and model of vehicle at a fraction of the dealership cost. Fast, honest, and reliable locksmith service. Call 722-1111.
Instant Keys. Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
Are you ready to play this summer? At the First Coast YMCA, we're committed to being your home for health and wellness and a place for friendly competition with team sports for adults and for kids. Basketball, volleyball, pickleball, flag football, soccer. The Y has something for everyone at any age. Discover all the benefits of YMCA membership and find your fun this summer at the Y. Registration for team sports and summer camps is open now. Visit fcymca.org.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, the cool down from the cool guys at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Fast, reliable, and honest service since '87.
All right, where have we been in the program today? Frangie, Carline, LaSelva with you. We've talked certainly about the whole Greg Sankey thing, the push he is making to have the 16-team playoff set up a certain way. We talked a great deal about that. He wants 4-4-2-2-1-3. Everybody else wants 5-11. That means 5 automatic qualifiers and 11 at-large teams. We'll see what winds up happening. We certainly talked about that. We talked about baseball, and will baseball do better now in the ratings, or has done better in the ratings, and who will wind up with Major League Baseball? Will it be NBC? We talked about that, a little bit about the NBA Finals as well. And will anybody watch? It's going to be a great finals, but not a lot of named teams. And we talked about Olivier. I keep saying Rue. Is it Rio? Am I saying it wrong?
I think it's I think it's Ryu, but
yeah.
Anyway,
we're talking about the 7'9" basketball player. So we covered a lot of that stuff on the program today. Almost out of time. I will say hello to Rick Ballou in a moment, but before we do, DeJuan Smoot back in the fold.
DeJuan Smoot.
I like DeJuan.
A Jaguar, absolutely great guy.
Anything left? You think? It'd be kind of fun if he did, wouldn't it?
He tore the Achilles his last
all-time good dude. Man.
Yeah, had the Achilles injury, and had been a guy that gets you 5 sacks a year. He got a minimum of 5 sacks for the Jaguars from 2019 through 2022, a 4-year run where he was a nice supplemental pass rusher.
Right.
Tears the Achilles. Then he only had 1 sack his final year with the Jaguars. Goes to the Bills last year after his contract expired.
Right.
And only had a sack and a half there. But that's an injury that can certainly take some time.
Correct.
To get back to where you were. So, I mean, again, this is an incredibly low-risk move. The contract is not going to be anything more than probably just above league minimum at this point. So I think it's a great move. I mean, you know what kind of person he is. Obviously, he's familiar with the organization and the city. And, if he's your 4th guy, which is what he would be, because it'll be Trayvon and Hines Allen, obviously, and then you've got Emmanuel Ogbah, who they love. So if DeJuan Smoot is your 4th guy there, now you have done a nice job of supplementing your edge rush depth. And I think it's absolutely a great move.
In 3 years from 19, 20, and 21, when he started 16 games and then 22, when he played in 16 games and then 22 played in 15, his sack totals were 6, 5.5, 6, 5. So certainly, if you have 5, 6, 7 sacks, you've impacted your team, particularly if you're a guy that doesn't start. So I know he's 30 now, and that was a few years ago, but it was good to see DeJuan back. And by the way, that whole culture matters thing that has been very clear when you listen to any of the folks talk as they've built this roster. Well, he certainly fits that. I mean, you talk about a guy that just fits. I mean, he will certainly. There's no doubt about that. He certainly fits in terms of who he is, what kind of person he is.
And see, this is why having Baselli as EVP is so smart, because he knows DeJuan Smoot. He's been around him for many years when Smoot was here. So this is somebody that, with a extensive Jaguars history, James Gladstone and Liam Cohen can go to Baselli and say, tell us about this guy. And I'm sure Baselli gave him, obviously, if he was signed, gave him a positive review, which is what I would expect.
Right.
And so, again, that is why this thing is working, I think, on a higher level than previous administrations.
All right, a couple things for tomorrow's show. It's going to be a fun show. Brett Hastings will be here. Sports and Courts tomorrow. We'll talk about the legalities if a team like Florida tried to leave the NCAA. What would it mean? What would it mean legally? What's that out clause? What's that buyout? So Brett's going to deal with that. So Sports and Courts is going to be kind of fun. That's in the 4 o'clock hour tomorrow. And then in the 5 o'clock hour, our friend Kevin Kaplan's coming by. He is the Jaguars team doctor. And I'm just going to ask him what this time of year is like medically. Do you monitor how hot it is out? Do you monitor morning practices versus afternoon practices? Do you have fewer injuries, more injuries over his career? I'm interested in this OTA minicamp time of year. And what do you worry about when camp comes around? What do you worry about with your guys? What do you have them do, or what does the team have them do to make sure they're not more susceptible to injury when they get here because they haven't been doing football stuff or certainly organized football stuff? So Kevin Kaplan, an all-time good guy, and he'll be with us at about 5:20 tomorrow to talk about the Jaguars, about their health, and a whole lot more. That comes up on tomorrow's program. Now let's say hello to Rick Ballou.
Now, the 2-minute drill. Serviced by Cool Cats Heating and Cooling. Locally owned and operated. We're your neighbors. CoolCatsJacks.com.
The coolest cats in town.
Did you see Sticks last night?
I did.
REO?
Yeah. REO Speedway.
Don Felder?
Don Felder from Gainesville.
Did Don Felder play that 12 string?
Told us he grew up in a dirt road in Gainesville.
That's awesome.
He played the. Yeah, he did.
12 string. He had that 12 string.
Hotel California.
Okay, they had played the 12 string.
Joe Walsh wasn't there, but he had a guy acting like Joe Walsh. So.
That's perfect.
But it was an unbelievable
good show.
night. Oh, it was
I have not seen him. I have seen. That's not true. I have seen him elsewhere, but not in Jacksonville. But I love when Sticks and REO come to town. I love that. I love REO. I mean, that's from
Felder's killing it.
Yeah,
I saw him 6 weeks ago. He opened up for Foreigner over at the St. Aug amp.
Yeah.
And then last night
came
was
right back.
Place. Yeah.
He came right back.
And you know why I love these shows? I'm the youngest one there. There's not a lot of places where I go where I'm now the youngest person, but I am at these concerts.
And I can sadly say that had I been there, you would have still been the youngest one there. So there's that.
I was so young that I actually got carded.
I remember that.
Okay? I mean, everyone's there is like 85 years old. They're like, they see me coming, well, let's card this guy.
I remember seeing REO at Daly's place, and Shad was there.
Yeah.
They're from Champaign.
Oh, absolutely.
One of his favorites. So
it was a fun night. It was great. Thank you to Miller Electric for bringing us out there. It was just spectacular. So today's really my Monday show. I was at the OTA yesterday, and like you guys were, took in practice, thought it was a really good day for both sides. So this kind of turns into my Monday show and my reaction to what I was able to witness yesterday. Plus, I had an opportunity to sit down with Brenton Strange, who had a really good day, including that red zone touchdown. So fired up for tonight's program.
All right, Brenton Strange and a lot of Jaguar talk coming up. That's Rick Ballou as he goes into the night. That'll do it for our program. Thanks for being part of it. Rick is next, so don't go anywhere. We'll see you tomorrow. Kevin Kaplan stops by, Brett Hastings, and a whole lot more. For Hayes Carline and JJ LaSelva, I'm Frank Frangie. So long.